What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team in 2022 and 2021, reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And before we do anything really right quick, want to say thank you to everyone who's watching this live on the replay. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. And promo. Hey, if you want to subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show, please follow on YouTube. Hit the subscribe and the notification button. And also, please follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And one other quick thing, if you want to sponsor anything we do at the Dr. Vibe Show, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the drbeshow.com. Well, you know what? We got a short amount of time with this special lady. And I have to say thank her always for taking the time to share. Way back in February, her office reached out to moi saying, we'd like to be on your show. And I said, me? Why me? Well, why not me? And then we, I'd say 2 months ago, finally had a chance to meet in person. Now, just a little game here, people. If there's someone you want to meet at an event, hang out close to the entrance. And I did that. So I hung out close to the entrance, and I was all ready to say, hey, how you doing? But she pointed me out first. I went, what? So we have Kamal Khera here today, Canada's minister. Let me bring her up first. And I usually I beat people, but she beat me that day. And she's Canada's Minister of Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. I have to correct that space on the show today. So, Minister, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well, Dr. Vibe. It's always good to see you and have epic conversations, as we like to say.
Okay, I need a new promo person. There we go.
Look at this. No, but it's always great to be on your show and talk about things that I know our viewers, your viewers, but also our community deeply care about. And of course, within my new role, I mean, you and I had these conversations even in my previous role as a Minister of Seniors, where we talked a lot about healthcare. But I think when you talk about diversity, inclusion, and persons with disability, I mean, this is something that is very close to my heart, and I know conversations that you and I had previously on how we can continue to ensure that we continue to build a more inclusive and accessible society in Canada. And just always good to be on your show and to have this epic conversation.
You're using epic conversations more than myself. You're shaming me in a good way. I got to use that more often. Well, look, family, her time is tight, so we're going to get right to it. So first conversation should be, what are the priorities for your portfolio? So let our family know.
Look, absolutely. Let me just first say it is so wonderful. It's honor and a privilege to be Canada's Minister of Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. It truly is an honor to work towards building, as I mentioned, a more inclusive and accessible society. Something that I truly fundamentally believe in is that diversity is a fact. We live in Canada. We know diversity is a fact. But inclusion is a choice, and it's a choice that I think all of us have to make every single day to ensure that we build a country that we're so proud of. And to make that a reality, we need a whole of government approach to ensure that we are listening, we are including all voices at the table, regardless of where those voices are coming from. Because it shouldn't matter where, who you are, what your story is, or what your faith is that you choose to practice. You should have equal opportunities. And I always say, it starts off by having excellent conversations with you, because we all have a role to play in joining Canadians where they are and discuss these important topics. So within this portfolio, my biggest priority is ensuring that we are taking that whole of government approach when you look at diversity, inclusion, and of course, looking at the lens of persons with disabilities. Because I always say, it shouldn't rest on, a single minister or a department. Everyone has a role to play to ensure that we're building towards that inclusive community. Everyone must be part of the solution when you talk about confronting racism or violence wherever it exists, but also to ensure that we're including all those voices at the table in everything that we do, and ensuring those and we're putting those policies, those inclusive policies forward. But one other thing, I think we know that some Canadians, and that's a reality that we have to confront, is the fact that we know some Canadians are more likely to be discriminated against or be marginalized because of their cultural background, age, gender, faith, and ability. And it is so important that we have an intersectional dimension with diversity and inclusion, with persons with disabilities as well. And that's why I think my portfolio fits in well with the work that we're doing, a whole of government work that we're doing. And the fact that we're able to combine these two really, really important files together under the same minister. For example, if you look at the poverty rates in this country, it's evident that we need to address these disparities. While 12% of Canadians live under poverty, the figure rises up to 23% among working age persons with disabilities. However, if you delve a little deeper, you can find that specific communities face even greater challenges. For instance, look at 30% of South Asians that living with a disability, and close to 40% of Black persons with disabilities live in poverty. And I think that's important to make sure that we're applying that intersectional lens and making sure we're really, if you want to help out a person, if you really want to lift them to where they are, you need to look at those root causes. You need to look at those disparities. You need to look at that intersectionality to find those people. And I think it's very important that we understand these dynamics and design inclusive policies that target these disparities, ensuring then that all Canadians, regardless of your background, you have equal opportunities. One of the other big priorities is, of course, ensuring that we're strengthening financial security for some of the most vulnerable in this country. That's why, as a government, we put in a number of policies such as the grocery rebate, affordable $10 a day childcare, Canada's first ever Canada dental care plan, and dental benefit for kids. These are things that are actually helping people as we speak. One of the things that I'm extremely proud of is that Canada's disability benefit is now law. Now, my goal is to make sure that we're getting this out of the door as quickly as possible, while also respecting and ensuring that we're designing this with the disability community. And we started that engagement process. So I know I gave you a lot to chew on there, but it is an exciting time, and I'm so honored that I get to work with wonderful people and organizations and community leads like you and so many that we had an opportunity to meet at an event to really move the dial on building an inclusive Canada.
I just want to hear the people who are watching live or we're going to watch live on the replay. We are speaking with Canada's youngest cabinet minister. Youngest. All right. Young. I'll just let you simmer on that for a moment, everyone, because one day I'm speaking, we need to get, when you're comfortable to share some of your journey, because there's a whole backstory there that I am fascinated. And I'm sure many of our listeners and viewers go, how did this happen? But we don't got that time. So let's get to other things. So, and I think you probably covered it.
And we should talk about it at some point.
I'm more than happy to. I know you may have touched this, but do you see any challenges when it comes to diversity, especially in Canada at this time?
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right. I think it's first important to recognize and remember that, when you talk about diversity, it's more than a buzzword, right? Like, it's so much more than just a buzzword. It's genuinely Canada's greatest strength. And to me, diversity isn't an abstract concept. It's a fact of life. It's something that we live every single day. It's the differences on our backgrounds, our experiences, our perspectives that makes our country that rich and the vibrant country that we're always so proud to call home. And as I mentioned, diversity is something that we live with. Like, that is just fundamental to who we are as Canadians. But making sure including people is a choice. Like, you have to be deliberately making that choice every single day. And we can't just stop at acknowledging diversity. Diversity is great. We must actively, as I mentioned, choose to include all those voices at the decision-making process, no matter where those voices are coming from. And I think when it comes to challenges, and I think I wouldn't say it's an opportunity as well, but I think there's no denying we still have a lot more work to do. But it's about ensuring, and I think in Canada, one of the things that we're so proud of, we can have differences of opinion. We can have, very, very different opinions on a subject matter or other things. But when we come together, that's what makes us stronger. And I think that is fundamental to who we are as Canadians right now. One of the things that I think on a broader note, when you think about taking it and ensuring is the fact that we have a lot more work to do when it comes to be on the offensive stance against the rise of hate that we've seen in Canada. And that's fundamentally something that I can tell you, if there's one thing that keeps me up at night, it's that. And I think something that we need to really pay close attention to. It's not enough to just condemn hatred, when we see it. We have to look at those and dig deeper into the root causes, have comprehensive plan of action. That is why we're actively, addressing anti-Black racism, which we know exists in our institutions. It exists in Canada. But the work that we're doing through Canada Anti-Racism Strategy, the work that we're doing through Canada's first ever Canada's Black Justice Strategy, which is something that we're actually, as we speak, getting consultations and getting Canadians to be part of and to make sure those voices are heard. But I think in a nutshell, it is about making sure those diverse voices have a voice at a table. And sometimes that comes with challenges. One of the other things I mentioned is, I think, the rise of hate. And it's true to the fact that, because we have so many members of, our community of Canada that are from different parts of the country, different parts of the world, right? Like, that we chose to be here in Canada because this is the country that's the best country to live in. But that also means that, there's a lot of work in what happens outside Canada has huge impacts also, with those diaspora communities, making sure that they're supported, making sure they have the resources that they need. And we have a lot more work to do. We have done quite a lot of work, but there is tremendous amount of work that we have to do. But I always fundamentally believe that, diversity is our biggest strength. We're determined to harness all of that to make sure we continue to build that inclusive Canada. And that happens with having conversations like the one that we're having today.
Okay. Well, I heard, I think, a notification sound coming, and I saw that means my time is running quick. So what I'm going to do, I got two conversation points. I'm going to leave you talk briefly about the justice strategy. Maybe we can leave that till the next time. I'm always asking about any movement in regards to helping amplify Black media.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really big piece. And I think amplifying Black media is crucial to part of, promoting that diversity, promoting that inclusion. Voices like yours are so important because you're in the community. You know what the issues are. You know what your viewers are telling you. And I think to ensure that social equity in Canada in this new portfolio is so incrementally important. And our government, as you know, from the very beginning, have recognized the importance of providing a platform to Black voices to be heard, to making sure those we're fostering that at the authentic storytelling, addressing underrepresentation of Black narratives and the media landscape, and the work that I know my colleague, Minister Pascal Saint-Onge is doing as a Minister of Heritage. But I think it's important to recognize, one of the things I'll tell you this, I remember it was in 2017, when Canada officially adopted UN Decade for the People of African Descent, which UN had recognized. Canada said, you know what, we're the first country in the Western community that we're going to adopt the UN Decade. And what that decade did was, for 10 years, it provided very tangible things that a country needs to do to support Black communities. And there has many, from criminal justice system to the work at the media front to support Black communities. And we, not First Canada, not only acknowledged that, we then made sure that we're putting money where our mouth is, making sure we invest in the communities, which is Black-led, to support Black communities, right? So one of the main things that falls into my department is supporting Black communities initiatives. This initiative, it truly is a cornerstone of our commitment to supporting Black communities, which provides up to $25 million over the next 5 years to help organizations that work for Black Canadians, which are Black-led. Under this program, it's called SBCCI. People love acronyms, as you know, in the government. It's to ensure that we're supporting Black-led and Black-serving community organizations across the country by making sure, bringing them closer to decision making, making sure that they're meeting the priorities of the communities. This initiative also includes to address, systemic barriers and challenges, including anti-Black racism faced by many Black communities. We also launched our Black-led philanthropic endowment fund. This fund, which is crucial in providing sustained financial support to Black organizations. We're taking action to, reduce anti-Black racism, to improve social and economic outcomes in Black communities. The first ever Canada's Black entrepreneurship program. This is to provide support to Black businesses, owners, entrepreneurs from across various sectors by providing funding and resources to make sure that they have the work that they need. And of course, we talked briefly about the Black justice strategy, which I think is cornerstone to everything that's happening at the criminal justice system, ensuring that those voices are heard. And consultations for that are public consultations for that are right now open. So if people want to take part in the work that we're going to be doing on the justice side with my colleague, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada, Arif Rani, I'm going to make sure I send you a link to make sure you put that in your platform to make sure those voices are heard. There is tremendous work happening, but we're going to need to continue to make sure we amplify that with the work that you're doing, Dr. Vibe, and sharing those stories that are so important, because it starts with a story. It starts with having these conversations. It starts with recognizing, we all come from different, from the different communities, but we all have that same ultimate goal, is to make Canada the country that it is. And I think we all have a role to play in making that happen and building that inclusive Canada. And I'm just so grateful to you, Dr. Vibe, and to all the wonderful organizations that I know that do this incredible work. It's so important to amplify the voices that we don't get to hear, and the work that you do with bringing our community together, talking about some really, I was joking, I want to say epic conversation, but I think they truly are also extremely significant in the work that we all need to do in bettering ourselves and our communities. So thank you for the wonderful work that you do in making that happen.
Well, thank you right back, Minister. When I had hair, it was hard work. Now that I don't have hair, and maybe I'll need to borrow some of yours. It's heart work. It's heart work now, not hard work. So we're a little bit over, but I want to say thank you as always for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to share with us today. For people who want to follow her on Instagram, and she's very active on Instagram, by the way, very active on Instagram. I don't know how mother, lady, wife, minister, I don't know. One last question. What do you do to rest?
Rest. Wow, that's a really good
sorry, that's a bad four-letter word.
Rest. I think for me, ensuring that, I always say, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't really take care of the world.
Right.
And I think in the jobs that you and I, all of us have in making sure that we're there for our community, it's extremely important that we take care of ourselves. For me, that's a little bit of meditation every day. And that's for me,
Good.
it's a little bit of exercise just to kind of keep my mind and my body moving. It goes a long, long way. But not enough. But, we all have to do our part in making that happen. But it all comes from, as you said, the heart work, which is tremendously important. And it's always wonderful to have that conversation with you, Dr. Vibe. And thank you again for this opportunity to do that again today.
Well, looking forward to more conversations online and offline with you. What I will just share with you is you and your family. It all starts with the family. Is that don't just manage your time, manage your energy,
Yes.
and remember to give yourself grace. Thank you, Minister. And I know you're going to probably bring the snow from Ottawa back to Toronto when you come back to
I
Brampton.
don't
So
want to. I don't want to.
don't look outside. Please don't look
won't.
outside. Be well and keep the faith. We'll chat soon. Take
Thank
care.
you so much. Have a
Well,
great rest of the week. Take care, Dr.
same to
Vibe.
you. Bye-bye. All right, Minister. He's fantastic always and gave a little bit more than we were expecting here, but fantastic. There's where you can touch base with her on Instagram. Please, please, please follow her on the Instagram. All right, so we're going to let everyone go. Hope you got something out of that. Some few final things. You can watch replays of my, as Minister said, my epic conversations. I got to say that more often on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube, also on Facebook, also on LinkedIn. Also, you can go to the website, the drvibeshow.com. As we said at the beginning, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Hit the subscribe and the notification button so other people get notified. And also follow the Dr. Vibe Show, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And also, too, more than happy to put it out there. You'd like to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I host my epic conversations, you can certainly reach out to me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So that's it, folks. That is it. Thanks for everyone who watched live on the replay. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. So as always, we finish off like this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get stronger to get, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. And then aim to be big, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and follow us for more epic conversations. As the minister said, take care. God bless. Yeah.